This morning I was in the Discord talking to a coach from the United Kingdom that's charging £30 an hour. To any of my homies from other countries, £30 is 35 euros, it's 37.8 US dollars, and it's 58 Australian dollars. I did my first personal training session just over 10 years ago, and that's what I started on. And the biggest elephant in the room is if you don't increase your prices over time, you become cheaper just through inflation alone. You know, everyone gets really excited about house prices going up. Oh, I made 100K on my house price. You didn't. Your money is just worth less. So it breaks my heart that people out there are charging not just what I charged 10 years ago, but significantly less. Because I remember 10 years ago going to seminars where people were saying 10 years before that, the average rate of PT was £30. Now, not all of you are personal trainers, but a lot of you watching this are going to be in service-based industries. Maybe you're a physio, maybe you're a yoga instructor, maybe you're a coach, maybe whatever it is. You could even be a driving instructor, where the current model is charging by the hour. I'm going to break down some of the issues with that, how to circumnavigate price increases, and break down some of the delusions that you feed yourself as to why it is that you can't increase your price. The biggest myth that's holding people back about their hourly rate is location. They seem to think that because London and New York and Sydney, they get Sydney prices and London prices, that it is your distance to the city that determines how much you charge. That's just not true. It is not where you live. This lad in question that I was chatting to said that he lived 10 miles from Leeds. So therefore, people couldn't afford to pay more than that. I even chased Uncle ChatGPT to find out whether or not this was just an illusion. This guy was force-feeding himself to put up with the fact he didn't want to go through the discomfort of increasing his prices. Leeds apparently is the 6th richest city in the United Kingdom. And in 2015, it was reported there were approximately 28,000 millionaires in the Yorkshire and Humber region, which includes Leeds. I'm not saying that all your clients have to be millionaires. I'm just saying there are a lot more people with money than you realize, considering as a coach, you actually only need between 10 and 20 clients. If you had 10 clients that were wealthy, that could see you 3 times a week, that is your books full. And you're probably thinking, oh, but James, couldn't I just have 30 clients that all do 1 hour each? Well, yeah, kind of, but here's another issue, especially in the coaching realm. If you have 30 clients seeing you for 1 hour, you now need to manage 30 people. Oh, Trish, oh, Sam, oh, Delia can't come in until 2 p.m. I need to move her around. When you only have 10 clients that see you 3 times a week, you only have to manage 10 people, 10 payments. Not to mention, the people that see you more frequently are often the ones with the larger disposable incomes, and often they're the ones that are more professional. So when they cancel on you, you might even say to them, oh, do you know what, Sue? You've given me 6 hours notice, don't worry about it. Then they message you going, no, James, I'm messing you around. I'll be offended if you don't charge me for the session. Whereas the people that are trying to save up pennies and get a discount and nudge you on rate, they expect you to pay for it. And here's the golden rule while we're tangent on this, because this is a rifting video. If someone doesn't show up to your session, someone has to pay for it. If you let them off, you have to pay because it's money you're not earning. You were there, you were ready, you're paying your rent in your gym or whatever it is, you were there. Someone has to pay for it. Now, of course, the first couple of times, maybe let them off. But if that pattern starts to emerge, they need to start paying for it. And I would probably say if someone was to miss 4 or 5 sessions in a row, sack them. Now, it's not because you're a mean person or you're trying to be professional. It's more of a power trip. The first time you sack a client, it's like you put on that glove that Thanos has in Avengers. You are the most powerful person in the room. People start whispering around in the gym. They go, oh, you know what James did? Came back from Ibiza with a bit of a come down, sacked his clients. One of them tried giving him lip, paid him late, boom, gone. Let me tell you this, 100% of all the headaches that you have in your business come from 10 to 15% of your clients. If you sack them, you now have 15% less money and 100% less headaches. That is a great deal. So if it's not the geolocation of where you're situated that's determining how much you get paid, what is it? Well, quite simple, it's demand. The more demand there is for your services, the more you can increase prices. We see this on planes. Think about this. If you wanted to fly from where you are to Ibiza, it might be £100. But if you want to go on a bank holiday weekend, it's suddenly 2.5 times that. Why? Because fuel became more expensive, the pilots wanted more money, the plane suddenly no, because more people want that route. And if more people want that route at that time, prices are going to go up. Simple economics, demand. Apparently in the UK now, you can get charged for taking your kids out of school. Truancy. But I believe some people have calculated that even paying the school the fine of taking the kids out, UK, worries me. Go to jail for a tweet. It's still cheaper than trying to compete with other people that want to go on the bank holiday prices, but you get my drift. And you will happily pay more to get that flight on the bank holiday, but oh, it is the holidays. So why don't you see that within your own business? Now, there's only one time that you can rationally lower your prices, and that is when your demand drops. Say you get to December, like it is now at the recording this video. You might have a few clients drop off because Christmas is coming or financially or whatever it is. When your books get quiet and you're down to maybe 5 clients, that is a good time to maybe reduce prices because there is not the demand for your services. How do I know? Because you're quiet. The same sense goes that if you're full, you are too cheap. How do I know that you're full? If you look at the busyness within your business, you can look at whether that scale of pricing needs to go up or down. Some people out there are charging a fortune for what they do, but they've got fuck all clients. They go, oh, I just don't know how to get more clients, and maybe reduce prices. Oh, but I've got a BSc and I've got a master's in kinesiology. I don't give a fuck. No one gives a fuck. I don't care if you went to uni for 10 years. If there's no demand for your services, you're going to have to drop your price. So there is a time and a place where you might reduce prices to get busy, because ultimately you always want to be busy, because busyness makes you feel good. It makes you feel like things are going well. And ultimately, the more people that you're working with and the more busy you are, the more you're learning your trade, the more you're understanding the people, the demographic, the avatar. And for a lot of you that want to go online and work online, which you can do, and I teach people to do, the better you understand your audience, the better. Although looking back now, my first 3-4 years on the gym floor doing those long days was some of the poorest paid work I've ever done. In hindsight, it was amazing, because all of that time on the gym floor then allowed me to learn people very well. When I went online, it paid back rather large dividends. Now, reducing your prices because you're not busy is not the same as a discount. Discounting can be at your peril. It's one of the biggest mistakes that people make. They think, oh, I haven't got enough clients, I'm just going to do a flash sale, 25% off to get people through the door. Unless you're really struggling with demand and there's nothing on the table that you can do to get more clients, like, going out flyering, asking for referrals, pushing on social media, hitting your email list. If you're exhausted, sure. But if you just need to work harder to get sales, dropping your price isn't the way to do it. I'll explain it using this cleverly positioned can of new tonic. So let's imagine this can of new tonic represents the amount of money that you earn for a session. Let's pretend this is the amount Declan earns for being here for this hour filming this. Declan doesn't actually get to take home all of that money. He doesn't get to take home all of the liquid that's in the can, because Declan has costs. He has his car, he has his rent, he has his camera equipment, the FX3 here with the ND filter and the lens and the monitor and the HDMI cable and all of these costs, and the fact he eats a lot because he's a young lad. So actually, out of the money he gets for the hour, maybe let's say a third of it is gone just in supporting Declan. Then we could probably have a nuanced opinion of what would be taxed, but this isn't a tax video. Then let's just say the top half of the can, let's say from the pupil upwards, is Declan's take home. The money he gets to go home and cherish and wave around in front of girls. If he provides me a discount for this hour out of generosity or because he just wants to do a flash sale, say he gives me a 25% discount, that's a quarter of the can, which might just seem like a quarter. But if we remember that his take home is from the pupil upwards, Declan giving me a 25% discount has actually halved the amount of money he gets to take home, because that discount doesn't come out of his costs. By giving me a 25% discount, it doesn't make his car finance cheaper. It doesn't make his rent cheaper. It doesn't make the amount of food he eats cheaper. So when you do discount, it is a big issue, because the amount of cash you have at the end of the day is significantly impacted. Whereas if Declan could increase his prices by 10, 20% through creating demand, through social media, prospecting, whatever it is, all of that money is going to be profit to him, because your costs don't go up when it comes to earning more money. Your taxes do marginally, but ultimately, if Declan was to squeeze an extra $10 out of me rather than trying to deduct $10, he would get to keep it. It would have a massive impact on his business. This is why demand is one of the biggest key factors you should have. Some of you will go spend 3 years at university to learn your PhD in kinesiology, but you won't learn how to create demand within your business, which, trust me, pays you a lot more. So only if you're desperate can you offer a discount, but you can't just throw it around, because, like I said, it's significantly less money. Even shaving 10% off your hourly rate can be more of a 20 to 25% discount. If you think about the days of the week, that now means you've got to go into work on a Saturday and work nearly a full day to earn the same amount of money. Whereas on the opposite, if you were to increase your prices by 10, 15% over the next few months from watching and absorbing this video on this channel that you're loving, I hope, that is all extra money, which means you could actually have a half day on a Thursday and a Friday and still earn the same money, and have the afternoon back to make more content, write more emails, be a social media strategist, which then means you get more demand, and then you put prices up more, and then anyway, you get the drift. Now, another issue that this lad was making is that he was charging £30 an hour, but then if you bought 10 sessions or 20 sessions or 30 sessions, it became cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I said, mate, at your best, you're earning less than what people earned 10 years ago, and at your worst, you're earning significantly less. It shouldn't get cheaper the more you hire someone. Now, if you're charging for a service, maybe like Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, you might say to someone that you give them a discount if they purchase a year up front. That's because if you have an average customer duration of, say, 6 months within your business at a 10% markup, if you're going to lock them in for 12 months, you now know that you've doubled the amount that you're going to earn from that customer. So if you give them a 25% discount, you still work out in a better position. But that shouldn't be the same for you charging an hourly rate. It's going to be so much easier for you guys just to have a flat hourly rate. Your dentist doesn't charge you less if you have a checkup every 3 months instead of of 6 months. Your car mechanic, your hairdresser, some barbers might give you a discount, but that's because they don't understand what they're doing either. Every single place you go to in life. I mean, if you've been driving a lot more than usual, you don't walk into the petrol station and go, can I get my petrol a bit cheaper because I've done more miles? It doesn't work like that. There is a flat price for things and they're going to move up and down based on demand or conflicts that are happening in the Middle East or Europe, whatever. My dad's always raving on, oh, the drum of oil's gone up by $3. Don't care. So for all of you watching this, whatever it is that you're working in, have a flat hourly rate, because then when you do want to put your prices up, you just put the flat hourly rate up. And when you're getting a bit quieter, you can bring that flat hourly rate down. But ultimately, those of you that use social media properly should never have to discount your hourly rate. Which brings me on to kind of a secondary rule on that. You can discount a product, but never a service. We have a margin on Newtonic. So therefore, if we want to run a Black Friday discount, which we're going to do next week, I think, we can just say, hey, instead of making 20% account, we're going to make 10%. And that's fine. But if you're in a service-based industry, whether a masseuse, a yoga instructor, a hairdresser, whatever, if you discount a service, like I said before, you're now having to just do more work and more hours and more time in the business to earn the same amount of money. It's going to be Black Friday very, very soon. For those of you that are in a service-based industry, you're not going to have really anything you can sell. But it's cool. We'll work over the next 12 months together. I'll keep pumping out content on this channel and we can create some kind of product and offering that you can put out that you could discount. Now, one of the biggest rebuttals people get when they're increasing their prices is, oh, but my clients, I love my clients. And there was once a guy I used to train called Russell in the UK, and he was a bit of a hard nut. He scared me a little bit. He also was a bit of a show off. He would pull up in his Rolls Royce, or it was a Bentley, I can't remember. And he would, oh, I've accidentally left my £20,000 watch on. Silly me. But he would always haggle me on price. It's a bit weird for someone to flex about their wealth and haggle you on price. And I remember I said to him, I'm putting up my prices. He goes, not for me, you're not. He goes, I'll see you 2 times a week. I go, it doesn't change the fact that I'm busy. If anything, you're part of the problem, not the solution. And I said to him over 2 weeks, I said, I'm putting the prices up. He goes, I'm not paying it. I said, I'm putting the prices up. He goes, I'm not paying it. So eventually I said, do you know what? Our session just went from an hour to 45 minutes. He goes, fine. He goes, I'll do my own warm up. And that was that. If someone can't afford your full hourly rate, get them to come see you for half an hour. I did this quite a lot. I took my hourly rate across 2.5 years from £30 an hour to £55 an hour. And for all the people that couldn't afford it, we just did shorter sessions. Now, if you're a masseuse, sure, it means 15 minutes less massage. If you're a hairdresser, maybe they're doing their own beard trim or whatever it is, or a barber. But if someone won't move on price, you just need to move on hours. Now, the good news here was when I increased my hourly rate to £55, I said, cool, half-hour sessions are £30. So that means for £60 a week, someone could see me on a Monday and a Thursday. I'd write their program for both the sessions for £60 to get in 2 sessions. I would then say, do your own warm-up, come to me ready to train. They'd walk through the door. I would take them through the hardest part of the workout, whether it was squats, split squats, bench press, whatever it was. Then when the time ran out, I didn't say you're going home. I said, go train your arms, your delts, your glutes, whatever it is, and they could do it. So if someone's not willing to go up on price, come down on the amount of time that you give them. Now, if people genuinely can't afford you, that's fine. That's really okay. Keep marketing so you can find more people that can. Now, people that train with you for a while and then say, oh, I just can't afford it anymore, that is bullshit. People can always find a way to afford a night out and some designer clothes. If they're saying that, the truth is they don't value what you're offering them anymore. So if you have a lot of clients that start working with you, then after a short period of time, start going, oh, I just can't afford it. Your offering is just dog shit and you need to work on that. Same way, if you get people asking for a refund or people dropping off in the first few months, that's just a big indicator that you need to improve the quality of your service or the results that you give people. Now, a lot of you watching this video will probably want to move online, start working online, start working remote, opening your laptop in Bali and being a digital nomad, which is cool. And you might not know what to charge. Now, my advice to people that I teach in my mentorship, link in description, dirty dog, is to start with the amount that you charge for an hour and translating that to a week. Because the majority of people you onboard for your online offering should be serviceable in an hour. Now, what if you like writing intricate programmings of undulating periodization, or what if you're someone that does something online for someone like complex accounting and you're like, oh, this is going to take more than that. Cool. Often when you work with people online, the onboarding process is the most time taxing, but then over time, people become more self-efficient. So even if they take an hour and a half in your first week and you technically take a loss, 4 or 5 weeks into training someone online, it's a check-in, it's a program rotation, it's a how you doing, and you just got £55 to chat to someone for 6 minutes across 3 days, which significantly increases your hourly rate. Then guess what? Over time, set a cap. For online coaching, probably 60 clients is going to be the absolute limit. After that, you're just going to see a reduction in your quality of service. Same way for personal trainers. They could do about 30 hours a week before they start to dip. Barbers, you might get more because you can kind of zone out and just do your fade. But doing stuff like PTing where you're walking around in the gym, moving weights, it's exhausting. So I know a lot of you that work online aren't sure about when to charge people. Do you do monthly, 12 weeks, 6 months up front? Although it's appealing to get loads of money from people up front, often you are just increasing the barrier to entry. Imagine everyone that wants to do business with you has to jump a wall to do it. For many of you, you're just making that wall massive and really difficult and wondering why no one's joining your program. Even my course that I'm promoting, down in the links below, sure, the full course costs this, but I have a short form content mastery course that costs costs a tenth as much. I am creating a smaller wall that they can jump over, and when they get to the other side, they go, Jesus Christ, this is better than I thought. Then they're more likely to go to the effort necessary to jump the next wall. Things like personal training and barbering, yoga, masseuse are often seen in people's mind as a weekly cost. So I often like telling people in the online coaching space to try and charge weekly, because it mimics the same thing you would have done with people. If you had a PT you've seen once, twice a week, often people will come in and just give you a bit of cash. They may want to pay up front, cool. If they want to pay up front, that's great. But for some people, they kind of just want to pay you for the shortest period of time necessary to see whether or not it's shit. And if it's not, they'll stay. And if it is, they're gone. And ultimately, for the majority of you, you just need to lower that wall as low as possible. And guess what? If someone joins, gets their program and fucks off after a week, yeah, that's shit. But the most people online don't do that. And if they do that a lot, it's often, again, a sign of the level of your coaching or offering. Some people are adamant that you need to bill for 3 months up front. You're just saying to someone, you've got to give me a load of money. The risk is then on the person, not yourself. Because one of you has to have the risk. Now, if you say it's 3 months up front, if you have a lot of demand, you can do that. But if you haven't got a lot of demand for your services, like I say, it's just making it unnecessarily difficult. So take the risk from them having it to you having it, and just say, look, fortnightly, weekly, pay for 2 weeks up front, whatever it is. Then you at least get your time right in the program for that person. And even if they do bum you, they take the program and do a runner. Let's say Steve joins, 4-day split, muscle growth between 20, let's say he's 28. You write his program, he leaves, and you go, God damn it, Steve only gave me £55 and I wrote his program and I really worked really hard for that, and I'm really disappointed and depressed because he just left after week one. I can't believe. Well, guess what? In 2 weeks' time, Billy's going to join, and he's only 32 and he's got the same goals. You get Steve's program, you change the name to Billy, and you give it to flipping Steve, and he's going to flipping love it. And even though I just got Steve and Billy the wrong way around, you get the drift. As an online coach, the majority of you, you're going to have a branch of, I don't know, like 40 programs, and then as soon as someone joins and you get to know them, you know which one's perfect for them, and you go, oh, this sounds just like Trisha. You send them Trisha's program. Oh, you don't have a leg press? You change it, and now Sandra is the new one. So when someone comes again and says, hey, I do this, I haven't got a leg press, you go, cool, get Sandra's. So billing for 3 months can be pretty stupid. And commitment periods in general just make you look like a beggy little twat. Oh, you must stay with me for 3 months. You're locked in. You're locked in. Imagine going on a date with someone and they go, look, if we're going to go for dinner, I must have a commitment from you that you will not go for dinner with anyone else for 3 months, okay? There is no other dating. I need you to delete Hinge now. You're like, we just met. You're mental. Getting away. Just be chilled. The more chilled you can be, the better. And the commitment periods are kind of bullshit anyway, because all of you should be offering a money back guarantee, which I have another video for on this channel. But the closing remarks on this will be that pricing, although a very complex subject, is tantamount to you guys operating and running a good business. You do not want to be cheap. You want to be the most expensive possible. Because imagine this as a scenario. You wake up this morning, your iPhone's dead. Your charger's let you down. It's done a dirty. Overnight, it's just died. So now your alarm didn't go off. You're late to work. Your boss was going to give you a pay rise. Not anymore. You missed training. You haven't got time for breakfast. You're hungry. It's the worst day of your life. You go on Amazon, think, I have to get myself a new cable for my iPhone. There's 4 available, one for £4, one for £6, one for £7, and one for $19.99. Now, at first you go, geez, that's expensive for an iPhone cable. But you go, do you know what? This is important to me. Because if you go cheap twice and it lets you down again in 2 weeks' time, you'll be so angry with yourself. But you know that one for $19.99 wouldn't be that expensive unless it was good. You don't want to be let down again. So you go for the good one and it doesn't let you down. You want the best. Bit like me. I just bought a Porsche 911. I don't know much of the difference between them. Carrera, 4S, Targa. So I just got the most expensive one, not the GT3 RS. Not made of money. I'm not so wealthy. I don't know what. I just got the GT3. Why? Because it's the best. How do I know? I can tell by the prices. Oh, but there's this 911 that's half the price. It's probably half the car. Don't attract cheap, because you just attract people like the iPhone cable that don't take you seriously and are more likely to let you down. If anything, the more expensive you become, the better your clients are. I just recently moved my 1 hour calls in my mentorship to $1,000 US, which is to me insane. I'm not gonna lie to you. The level and quality of the conversations has got so much better. Also, I had to move someone the other day. The $1,000 an hour, people are like, yeah, fine, whatever. Whereas sometimes you have people, when you charge less, who moan about it. It's crazy. People are nicer in business class than they are in economy. They're even nicer in first class. Not all the time, the majority of the time. The best clients you want in the world, people that are just happy to pay. If you generate demand, everything becomes easier. I have a coach that I use online. I don't even have his phone number. Barely chat to him. He sends me my programs. I do it on a spreadsheet. I've got one of the world's most advanced training apps in the world, and I'm doing my workouts out of a spreadsheet. He tells me what to do. I get it done. If I don't train for 2 weeks, I don't ask for my money back. I'm getting good results from the training. I'm not bothered. Why do I pay him so much? Because he's good at what he does. So there's some lessons that you need to understand about pricing. You don't just have an hourly rate based on where you live. There's so much more things complex to that. Building demand for your business is kind of what I specialize in. Now, I can't be sure what YouTube is going to put right here, but I guarantee it's a video that you're going to enjoy and learn from. So head over to that video if you found this one useful, and enjoy. Bye.